Hello and welcome to KDP with a Twist podcast. I'm Tammy Crin, a self-publishing enthusiast, and I'm dedicated to helping you grow your business by adding a new twist to the KDP self-publishing world. I've been branding booklets for businesses since 2018. I'm the founder of KDP for B2B, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing for business to business. We'll explore how to leverage your KDP self-publishing skills by helping businesses create branded booklets featuring their content. If you're interested in starting and growing your own KDP for B2B business, you've come to the right place. I'll introduce you to a few ways that you can get paid to help businesses create their own branded booklets without keywords or ads. Yes, that's right, without keywords or ads. This is what I call a triple win. The business elevates its brand, adds value to its customers, and stands out from their competition. You get paid a setup fee for each book created, plus you can make money for every book sold. And customers feel as though they have received a gift and something they will use and love. Join me every Tuesday as I will share some practical tips and advice on how you can get your own KDP for B2B adventure started. Are you ready? Let's go.
All right, we're here today on podcast number 4, and we have Vicki Conley with me today, and we are going to be talking about books that she's created and also the audience that she's put together and going out and talking to business owners. I wanted to talk to you about her coming in, Vicki coming in and talking about what she's done with KDP for B2B. She's taken the course and she's now put it into actionable steps. And that's where I really wanted her to explain to you and talk to you about how she's doing it, her successes, and maybe even something that she can tell us that she would do differently. So without ado, I would like to welcome you to podcast 4
Thank you.
KDP with a Twist. This is Vicki Conley. She has such great stories, and I'll let her just talk a little bit about all of her things.
Yeah, well, it's been several years that I was first interested in creating my own books. It took me a while because it was just daunting. It was so daunting, overwhelmed with all the new things that you had to learn.
The self-publishing part?
Yeah, the self-publishing part. So I did get started like in 2018. I bought a simple tool that helped me create pages. And I created what I end up calling now my book of blank pages.
I think we all started out that way.
I know, and I mean, I was so
line journal.
I know, I was embarrassed to put my name on it, so I came up with a pen name.
Oh, you were smart. I did not, and I can't get rid of them.
And I put I on the spine because you have to put the words on there. And I still do it now. I put the words in white, and
so you're very cognito. You're going.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I'm more loud and proud about it now. Now that I know what I'm doing, and now it's an almost book of blank pages because I want to make it easier for people to get started, and so I've put a couple of books as examples together, and I have a book that is pretty much totally blank pages.
Got you. Yep.
Just an
introduction
and if I can teach people how they can customize the first few pages to make a real simple book for their business, for their brand, or if they don't want to learn those steps, they can hire me to do it. If they do want to learn those steps, I don't want to be the one to teach it all, so I'm going to refer them to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, because your course was awesome. I mean, it taught me how to do this. It gave me the confidence to go out and do this, and the fact that you live 2 exits down the interstate.
Well, that's a story in itself, right?
I know, that's a story in itself. So we can come here and we can do this in person, and I can bring show and tell, and and so I came up with this book using a book as my biz card. I took a course from Chris Green during the COVID days, having to restructure my business. And I put this book together with examples and kind of more of a mid-content book, and I even
that's what I like to call it. Medium content, mid-content.
I even put a table of contents in there,
and I show them a little bit more like
Yeah, and so I put this package together, and I joined my local Chamber of Commerce, and I volunteered to be a speaker. And the day that I spoke, they had like 20 some people show up, and I was kind of nervous, and I didn't really have it put together perfectly, but we got the message across, and now they know what I can do.
What I wanted to talk about, exactly what I wanted you to talk to the audience about, because this seems to be the sticking point, and I was so glad that you reached out to me and told me what you were doing, because I knew you were nervous. We talked about that, but you know what? Everybody's nervous. Everybody who has to get up in front of people for the first few times are nervous. But when you do it and keep doing this over and over, and this was at Chamber, correct?
This was, last month at the Windsor, Colorado Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And Tuesday of this week, I joined the chamber that day. So during my presentation, I can announce myself as the newest chamber member, and I'll be able to do a ribbon cutting as soon as I get that all put together.
Great.
And I was able to introduce the idea to them.
Yeah, and so when you were doing this, so you were able to, was this your first day, or this was you went back to them, and how did you even get an opportunity to speak at the chamber?
Well, I attended a wine party.
Love it.
What
else? That's what it was about.
It was a wine party, and I introduced myself to the chamber, the new director of the Windsor Chamber, and I had my book with me, and I showed
That's
it to her.
That's the tip right there. Yeah. She had her book. That's what I always say.
Yes.
Bring your books with you. Even if it doesn't pertain.
Show and tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed her, and she's just like, "Oh my gosh, can you speak to our leads group about this? I love this idea." It's like, yeah, sure.
So
I had no clue what I was gonna do, but yeah, sure.
But you had your book with you. They actually knew they were the real books, because that's the other thing I always say is a lot of times with KDP, with the Kindle part of it, everyone thinks it's just a digital book, but these are actual books. And so when you're talking at Chamber, that's when you bring your book. That's what people are like, oh, impressed with. It's a real book. They're very well done. The quality is great. You can have color on the inside and black and white on the inside.
Yes.
The covers are always color if you choose to.
Yes.
But so you met up with the lady at Chamber, and you showed her your book.
Yep.
And then she was impressed with that. So then
And so then I did the presentation, and then I was that's around that same time frame. Well, this was just a month ago, but that same time frame I was getting into NFTs in that space. And so
what is an NFT?
An NFT is a non-fungible token.
Okay.
And you can buy them for their art, you can buy them for their utility. Part of the utility can be the community that you're attached with. And NFTs are, a lot of them have the smart contracts written, like this is an NFT. My giraffe is an NFT, and I made him an author.
Okay.
And they're individual. And so I'm involved in this community. Part of our NFTs is the Giraffe Tower community. Okay. And a lot of the giraffes are creators, and they have their own creator communities. And so it's kind of a twist, like it's a brand. It's not necessarily
KDP with a twist. That's what I call
KDP with a twist. Exactly. So I'm twisting it into NFTs. And what was so cool about this, and this is for all you people that are out there listening, you take it to whatever audience you're involved in.
Yes.
And I just tweaked my presentation a little bit, and it was right on.
The community knew about NFTs. They didn't know about the brand.
I didn't have to teach when I kind of was dealing with the chamber, I kind of threw in a little about NFTs, and nobody really knows what NFTs are.
Yeah, that wasn't really the audience for the NFTs.
That it kind of
this is the big book. Yes, so that is.
Yes, and so with my NFT audience, they already get it, and it was like I had a Sally Field moment reading the comments in Zoom. It's like they like me, they really like me, and in fact, I had 4 appointments booked, and this was last week. I've had 4 appointments booked so far. One of my appointments was actually my friend Nancy, who I'd like to introduce onto the podcast.
So we're gonna do this, but you had 4 appointments?
4 appointments booked from
this
one presentation that I did Saturday
about NFTs that you could place them on.
And these are with community leaders that are creating their own coins and their own communities, and so they can use their own logos. And we're going to work on creating an interior on how to, why did you buy this NFT? What does owning an NFT mean to you?
Yeah, that's so great.
And so
you'll be creating these branded books for the people who have different NFTs. And Nancy was one of the ladies that is your appointment.
Nancy
she happens to live in Colorado too.
She happens to live in Colorado.
Hey, Colorado's where it's at, people.
We all met on Clubhouse.
We all met at Clubhouse. Didn't even know we lived in the same state. So I'd like to welcome Nancy. Come on over, Nancy.
Nancy, come on up. And Nancy is part of Maui Nancy. Maui Nancy.
Yay. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you.
To the
Aloha.
podcast.
It's great to be back here in colorful Colorado, and met Vicki, and she was absolutely amazing. And so not only the books, but she's creating me merchandise. I brought a little couple of props, and utilizing all of her incredible techniques. Creating T-shirts and pillows,
pop sockets,
fun merch. Yes.
She's introduced me to something that I never knew was possible. That we could just make one of anything.
Mm-hmm. That's where I was going with that. It's like talking to an audience that had never heard of merch. Where we've been in this community for 4 or 5 years, we took it for granted that everybody knew what merch was. There is a lot of people out there that they did not know that they had this ability on Amazon for merch or KDP. And KDP is actually, it's just as easy once you learn it. It's just, it may be harder to learn, but once you learn it, this is a very unique foot in the door for any person that's dealing with businesses, brands of any way, whatever community and brand that you're in, get them to write a book.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think you made a good point where when you're bringing, when you're doing KDP or merch, and merch is more of the shirts and pop sockets and all the other, but KDP is all about the books, so self-publishing. But where we're going with this is the businesses don't even know this is available for them. So if you want to take your self-publishing to a new level or another income stream, KDP for B2B is such an amazing thing. That's Kindle Direct Publishing for business to business. So that's where I brought Vicki in to talk about what she's doing. She's in a group now with NFTs. She didn't even, she was talking about her book, and then people were like, well, how do I get one? How do I do that? And that's how the question happens. Yes. That's what she did, and that's how she got in. She met Nancy, and they've connected, and she's doing books and merch and all this stuff. And so it can go from one thing, from either a book that's branded for them and then lead into merch, which I've talked about many times before, because a lot of the business owners don't realize they can do one at a time. So they don't have to spend a lot of money on merch. T-shirts are great for that because you don't have to buy all the sizes. They'll just go online and purchase them. But we're going to talk about KDP for B2B right now, because this is where she went to a Aurea platform that was talking about NFTs, showed them a book, and then the conversation started. That's how easy it can be. So you just have to go to your groups, talk about what you love to do, and this is what happens. And she created these branded books, and now she'll be creating them for the group, the community.
Yeah,
so it's very exciting.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing more of your story, Nancy, and thank you for joining us and sharing your story. And I think you two have collaborated beautifully.
Thank you.
And that's what I like to share.
In a week, I just met her in person a week ago.
It doesn't always have to be in person. We just happen to look out that we all live in the same community.
Maybe a month ago online.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to say that I started out wanting the merch, and then she shared the book, and I'm going, oh no, I need the book. So I'm one that started one way, and I'm just
and you can have multiple books because you have different NFTs as well. So
absolutely.
that's the other thing. You know, if you're in the NFT community, then you know, if you want to start creating branded books for that community, you can talk to Vicki, and she can direct you to the right places, but you can do multiple books for people. It's not just one book. Right. And we talked about workbooks as well.
All right.
Well,
I'll let you
awesome. Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head by doing, again, the passion that you have. You got into the NFTs, but you already had you've already done KDP and self-publishing for many years, and you took that idea and now you walked into a community that didn't even know it was available.
Yes. I've been dabbling. I'd just been dabbling, and one of our community members, her coin is the dabble coin. Her talk was called Dabble and Do.
All right.
Dabble and do what you love. And
it's exactly what it is.
It speaks to me, it speaks to me. And so she
when
was
you're
my very
passionate
first
about
appointment.
something, then you go into those groups and you create those branded booklets for the community. And that's how you can get your first few leads. If you're not comfortable about going out and talking to business owners, just talk about what is available. And if they're ready, they'll come up to you and ask you more questions. That's all you need to do. So
yeah,
it was great.
I love it. Let's go hot tub mastermind.
We gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you on the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you know anybody else struggling with KDP and not making sales, or even having trouble with ads and keywords, please share KDP with a Twist podcast or have them subscribe to my YouTube channel. At KDP with a Twist podcast, I'll be going over lots of strategies every Tuesday, and I'll be putting this information into small chunks, so it'll make it easier to digest. And then you can get started making money with KDP for B2B ASAP. For more information, go to my website. Make sure you get on the email list so you can stay in the loop with all things KDP. My website name is my name, Tammy Crin. That's it, tammycrin.com. TAMMIECHRIN.com. It'll also be in the transcripts below. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And thank you for your time, and bye for now.